Yo, what is going on, Gamehouse? I am Germ here. So we are back once again talking about another off-meta pick, strategy, build, whatever. And today, obviously, as you guys can tell, we are talking about Nilah, and we are talking about Nilah in the mid lane. Now, this is very, very strange because obviously Nilah was a champion that was released pretty much to be an AD carry. You know, every once in a while we get these champions that are like, oh yeah, she's supposed to be an AD carry, but she can play top, mid, and jungle as well and has disgusting win rates everywhere. She's really, really overpowered. But Nilah has a lot of convoluted mechanics that, you know, really keep her in the bot lane, really keep her as an AD carry. But hey, that's not going to stop people from trying to make her work other places. And the person we are looking at up on the screen today is one that is always known for his off-meta picks, always known for really pushing the limits of the games of League of Legends and keeping things spicy and interesting, and that's why I love him. We are looking at Caps. This is G2 Caps, the mid laner, obviously for G2 Esports. He is very high up in EU West. He is Challenger. This is in a Challenger game, and he's deciding Nilah in the mid lane is good enough for him to pull out. Now, this game started out a little bit weird. Obviously, Twisted Fate's coming from in his jungle. He's got to see what's going on. He got a couple minions before Twisted Fate got any, so that's definitely going to be a nice advantage for him. But Caps has actually played a couple of Nilah mid lane games on this patch now. Not really anything 12.14 specific. I know Nilah did have some like bug fixes in patch 12.14. I think she had some hot patch nerfs in 12.13. And when we look at 12.14 in general, you know, Nilah is a strong champion. She is a above 50% win rate 80 carry if you set in Plat Plus. If you separate it by all ranks, she's like above a 51% win rate 80 carry. She is a strong champion. She's annoying. She's frustrating. She has over a 30% ban rate. People, you know, really don't love playing against her. People think she's pretty annoying. Overall, people think she's pretty strong. And obviously, whenever a new champion comes out, if you're like, oh, hey, an AD carry champion came out, but you're a mid laner, you're a top laner, or whatever, you want to play the new shiny champion too, because they're usually pretty good. That's how the Riot kind of balance team goes with their 200 years of development or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. This is definitely an interesting one to me because if we look at Nilah's passive, her passive, Joy Unending, Nilah gains increased experience from last hitting minions along with the ability to enhance and share nearby healing and shielding from her allies. But that increased experience from last hitting, you don't just get increased experience for last hitting. What the passive is you get increased experience for last hitting minions increased above the shared XP. This is supposed to be for bot lane. If you're in the bot lane and you have a support, obviously AD carry and support, they both usually share some of the XP. They split the XP. But Nilah gets like 18% bonus. So you still don't get full XP and you don't get over full XP. You get like 87 XP, 87% XP instead of like 65 or whatever. So by taking Nilah out of the bot lane and throwing her in mid or top or jungle or whatever, even support since you're not last hitting, you are losing like half of her passive. You know, you're losing one of her abilities. You're losing one of the things that she has balanced around. So you are already kind of handicapping your champion. But you are still getting the increased healing, the increased shielding. If we look at this game that Caps is in right now, I believe he has a Taric on his team. So, you know, he's going to be increasing some stuff depending on who your jungler is, who your support is, maybe even who your AD carry is. You know, maybe you have a Seraphine AD carry or something like that. You can still be getting that. And then if your jungler ever runs by, your jungler wants to, you know, crash some waves, your jungler wants to, you know, push in some waves, whatever, help you get shoved. If your support wants to come up, relic some minions, and then you can kill some as well. Obviously, since for this Nilah passive you need to be last hitting, maybe you can still get some use out of her passive, but it is a little bit strange. Another problem for Nilah in the mid lane is definitely that she is melee or shorter range. I know she's like longer range than melees, but shorter range than range champions. So that's going to be a little bit annoying. Maybe there will be some melee champions you're able to abuse, but a lot of the time you're going to be up against those range champions, which are going to be a little bit tough. And then you are just a scaling champion. You know, Nilah needs at minimum one item to really get going, but she really becomes that monster hyper carry of a champion at 2, but probably 3 items. She is really, really reliant on critical strike. A lot of her abilities scale off critical strike and all that, but you can see Caps, he doesn't really care about all that. He's still getting around the map. He's still making plays, just like he likes to do with all his picks. So If we take a look at the rune page that Caps is going for the Nilah, this is Conqueror on Nilah, Conqueror with Presence of Mind. We have Legend Alacrity, and then Last Stand, I believe. And then we have Domination Secondary with Taste of Blood and Treasure Hunter. We have Attack Speed, Adaptive Force, and Magic Resist there. Nothing too crazy. The Conqueror is really, really common on Talia all over the place. I want to look at, see if there's anything else that kind of stands out as kind of interesting. I think Press the Attack can be okay. Hail of Blades can be okay, and Lethal Tempo can be okay. But Conqueror is pretty much just a straight up best rune on Nilah no matter what position you are playing. And nothing really changes there in the mid lane. It seems like some people are maybe even going for Strike, but I would really just stick to Conqueror there. As far as the skill order, making sure you know what abilities you're getting, what's even going on, everything like that. Obviously, another good thing about Nilah too, helping you get through some of these mid games, is going to be your W. You know, blocking all the auto attacks, not letting the enemies trade back on you and stuff. Especially against a champion like Twisted Fate that Nilah's up against here now. You know that is going to be very, very strong. We have the skill order. We're going to be starting out with a point in Q, then E, then W. We're going to be maxing Q, maxing E, and then maxing W last. Obviously putting a point in R every time that you can. You see a crazy game here. You know, a lot of scrapping going on. Again, Caps is bumping up the healing and shielding that his Tark is giving out to everyone here. And hey, that is definitely really, really good because the healing and shielding from Tark is already going to be very, very annoying. So maybe you want to leave this pick for times where you're actually going to be able to get some use from this. Maybe you want to make sure you have some healing and shielding coming out from one of your other members, because if you don't, you're already not getting the XP share of your passive. So if you're not getting the healing and shielding of your passive either, then you're just playing an absolute ability down on people. And, you know, that's maybe sometimes going to be good if your champion, or not good, but sometimes be playable if your champion's really, really busted. But if your champion's not, that's going to be very, very rough. In the mid lane in this game, Caps is going TP. There are a couple of different options, though. Some people are taking Ghost. Some people are taking Exhaust. There's people taking Ignite. Barrier actually has a pretty high win rate. I don't know. It's going to be kind of matchup dependent. It's going to be dependent on your playstyle. Do you think the enemy champion or someone on the enemy team is going to be someone you're going to really benefit from Exhaust from? Do you think it's going to be somebody you might be able to put pressure on and kill early with like an Ignite? Or are you worried about needing to get back to lane, needing to, you know, maybe you'll take a bad trade and you need to get back to TP? I don't really know. It is very, very matchup dependent. Obviously, there's going to be lanes where Cleanse is going to end up being really, really good as well. But Nilah is pretty mobile. She can definitely, obviously, you know, dash around, be kind of annoying. She can get around the map, especially in this game. Her team is going with her everywhere, and she is being very, very active, which is leading to Caps really accelerating on this scaling. Like I said, Nilah is that late game hyper carry, that 2 to 3 item absolute snowball champion. I was reading, you know, the Nilah main subreddit, and they're talking about how in the solo lanes, they wouldn't really recommend it, but if you wanted to try it, she is very, very feast or famine. And, you know, you might just get shut down, you might get dumpstered, you're going to be pretty susceptible to ganks, you're going to be squishy, you're going to be susceptible to getting blown up. But if you can get a couple kills, if you can get rolling, if you can get through the lane phase unpunished, yeah, 2-3 items is going to be absolutely disgusting. So speaking of those items, let's take a look at the build that Caps is going in the mid lane. He's starting out with the Doran Shield, normal, Twisted Fate, Range Champion, going to be poking him down. He's going for a Cull on his first back again. Another item that I really, really appreciate. Obviously, Cull, your game plan is to farm up. You are a late game scaler. You don't want to be getting in a ton of fights. Don't want to be trading a ton, really, and you do want to be farming very, very well. And with Cull, if you do farm well, if you do scale up, you're going to get rewarded extra for that. Then he gets some longsword, some boots, whatever. He's going Berserker Grease first item, into the Kraken Slayer, into the Phantom Dancer. Like I said, Nilah is all about this crit. This is exactly what you need. And yeah, I like this build from Caps. Kraken Slayer, really, really good. It does seem like you can also go Gale Force on Nilah, which I think would be you know, a decent choice as well. I know there's some people who have experimented with things like Blade of the Ruin King on her. I've seen a little bit. I know Storm Razor, some people says is interesting. Essence Reaver, these are all options. I don't hate the build that Caps is going, but I do wonder if Phantom Dancer's second item is like the absolute optimal. Like, is that what Nilah one tricks are taking? I really don't think so. You can see here he's got that level advantage on the Twisted Fate, and this gives him a chance to just go in, and do a ton of damage. Yes, Nautilus does help him get the kill, but Twisted Fate was not in good shape even before the Nautilus got there. And then third item, you know, you have a lot of different options. It seems like Caps is going for an Infinity Edge, which I think is a very, very good way to top off this build. But people are also going Bloodthirster sometimes as a third item as well. Fourth item, you can go like a Lord Dominic's. You can maybe go a Death's Dance. You know, you have a couple different items depending on what the other team's going on, maybe even Guardian Angel. But again, you're trying to get crit, trying to get attack speed. A lot of your abilities scale with crit. You're going to be autoing and stuff a lot. I think your Q and your ult scale with crits. Yeah, you're going to have to take some chances. You are short range. You are like melee or pseudo melee or whatever. But if you land some big ults, you get some autos off, you get some Qs off, you're going to be doing big damage. But the early game is probably going to be a little bit rough. And like I said, Nilah in the mid lane is not necessarily a champion or a pick that people would recommend. But if you're a mid laner who thinks Nilah's broken or busted, or you just want to play the shiny new champion that Riot has out there, Nilah mid is a pick that you can make work. Because again, this is Caps. Caps ends up winning this game. I think he goes like 4-3-7 or something. Caps was making Nilah mid work in a challenger level game. So if it works in challenger, you can probably make it work in your elo as well. But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. If you drop a like if you did enjoy it, I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about Nilah in the mid lane. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all the Game House's latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.